Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh.
Larceny. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny. The grass is always greener on the other side, especially when you're in prison. This is Trevin.
That might be one of my favorite intros in a long while.
Oh, good. I'm glad you feel that way.
And I'm Amanda, but thank you for that giggle. And Trevin.
Yes.
Tell me your dreadful dilemma this week.
So my dreadful dilemma you are aware of already. It's hard not to know of. As you guys know, we missed a week already because different things have come up, and this would be one of them for me. But the other night, I came home from work. It was a day in the office because I'm a hybrid worker. And, you know, you're already kind of tired, and I went through the long traffic, blah, blah, blah. Come home, and right when I get home, Boots puked all over my blanket.
Oh, I did not expect that angle. Okay,
And I know that Emily had had a rough day at work too, and we had just put, it was like our thinner waffle blanket that we love because it's been getting a little warmer around here. And I knew it would just make her real sad once she gets home and it's like, oh no, we slept with it one night and then Boots puked on it. I cleaned it up as best I could and then I took it off the bed because, you know, it's better to just hear about it than see it. A little bit later into the evening, she says, well, you know, we should probably just wash the blanket so we can use it again soon. So I put the blanket in the washer, started running the washer. I came over here to start recording my sound effects. And for some reason, as I was wanting to record my sound effects, all I could hear was this loud grinding noise in my headphones.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
And it turns out my washer completely shot shit.
Oh, no.
So I've got this wet, puke-filled blanket and a half-filled washer that doesn't work. And we're on the underwear countdown.
Oh.
Until I get this fixed, it's either we got to go buy some new clothes or or I'm going to have to learn to be in public and wash my garments.
Your magical underwear?
Yes.
You have told me that your washer was broken, but I didn't know the lead up to that or anything, or the puke blanket part. I was wondering if you had used a laundromat or went over to a family member's house and washed your stuff. You are just counting down the seconds until you get a washer.
Yeah, I'm just raw dogging it.
Oh, my Lord.
I'm going to start wearing clothes I've never worn before. Yeah, it's going to get bad. Commando.
Thank goodness there is video only from the waist up.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Trevin, you are on one. Well, luckily you are getting one soon.
I hope so. That is also a dilemma, of course, by not having the washer, but I have to now get one. And I was trying to price and see how much like the cheapest new ones are. And it was going to come out to like $1,000 to $1,200 at least for like shitty brand new. And then of course I was like, well, I guess I'll look at Marketplace. And we all know how Zuckerberg's neighborhood's doing over there. It seems like just like the fact checking leaving, the background checking on these Marketplace deals have been leaving as well, because I don't know how many different profiles I saw with the same copy paste description. And I'm like, okay, Jasmerelda, I know you and Tony, you're not different people. I know it.
Yeah. The scammers be scamming on Marketplace. I mean, you saw what happened with my car.
Yeah. But to do this, I have to meet a stranger. I have to hope that they don't screw me over with an appliance that doesn't work. I have to ask somebody who drives a truck to help me by moving the thing. Then I have to install it and get rid of the old ones. So I hate everything about this. And Emily is usually the Marketplace person because she's not afraid to say like, oh, porch pickup, come do this. all I can think about is that person's going to come kill me. So I don't want people to know where I live, and I don't want to go to their house either and be killed at their house.
Yeah.
But here I am, and she shut her Facebook down, so I'm the one running Marketplace, and now I'm at the mercy of somebody to drive a truck and help me out.
Well, I hope you live through this.
Me too.
In every way possible. I also have a dreadful dilemma, and it just recently popped up, if you will. Over the weekend, Jordan and my 2 daughters and I went to one of our favorite trampoline jump parks that's around town.
Oh, yes.
And I don't think I'm going to say the name. Not that I'm going to say anything bad about the place in general, but just something kind of weird that happened there. So I'm like, maybe I won't. But we love it. And I'm still going to go back if that matters.
I'm afraid you're the one who is afraid of losing your membership if this gets out.
Honestly. So here we were jumping around. My youngest daughter now loves the jump parks just as much as my oldest one, even though she can't quite do all the things that are there by herself and she needs a little extra boost sometimes. She just like sprints around like an unhinged wind-up doll. Like, yeah, like little legs just running. It's so cute to watch.
Wearing herself out.
Yes. There is also an obstacle course with a ball pit underneath it. And all the balls are white and there's neon pink and green lights hitting them. It's really cool. It's a vibe. We had just gotten off. We had made it through this obstacle course as a family. We did a couple of them. It was very hard, but we did it. Just made it to the other side and I see a brawl break out between 2 teenage boys.
Okay.
Literally like feet in front of us, like right by the obstacle course. Like we couldn't leave though. We were trapped in the middle of this weird fucking fight between these teens. And so anyway, one of the teen boys comes up to the other one and he's like, "Give me my phone, man." And the other one's just like, and he's like trying to like get to something or scroll to something or do something. And he's holding onto his phone. He's like, "Fucking give me my phone, man." And they're like wrestling. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I like shield the girls, like, get back, you know, these fucking kids. I was like, stop it. I was being like their little mother. One of them choking the other one out. One of them like slams the other one into a fucking wall.
Whoa.
It's a padded wall, but still.
Still counts.
And so I'm just watching this like, should I be like, Jerry, or should I be like, call 911? I was torn. It was kind of funny, but mainly my kids were there. So I was like, don't fuck with me. I am the police.
I kind of expected Jordan to be the one kind of intervening or being loud about it, not you.
This is the other dreadful part about it, Trevin, is that I look over at this man.
Is he recording it?
This tall, intimidating, has a fucking knife tattoo on his head. I look at him, I'm like, get involved, as they're choking each other and throwing each other. And one of them's trying to punch the other one. And I'm like, say something, Jordan. He just is standing there and he's like, they're not my kids. Because they're not respecting me. These kids are not respecting me. And I'm yelling at them. I'm like, stop it now, you know, like trying to scold them. And then finally, Jordan's like, hey, guys, knock it off. So casually, they both stop. One of the young kids comes over to me, and I couldn't tell if he was acting like a mob boss. I don't know. It felt so weird, but he was just like, sorry you had to see that. I don't know. It felt really weird. And I even told Jordan that, and he's like, well, at least he wasn't like, but if you ever tell anyone, you ain't seen nothing.
Yeah. Mama be sleeping with the fishes tonight.
But it was kind of weird. Like, he was just kind of like, I'm so sorry that happened to you.
My condolences to your family.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? And he didn't even have that accent, but like, that's how it made me feel.
Damn.
Weird.
That's an interesting setup. You know, I don't get to see fights in my day-to-day, so that's fun.
I even considered, I was like, should that be a story? But I was like, no, these fucking kids. I can't.
It's a great dilemma, though, and I'm surprised Jordan just wouldn't do it. I don't know how many times you and I have been in public and like somebody's struggling to get something off their truck and he's up in the truck to help them.
Yeah.
Or somebody's got something else going on and he's like, can I help you, ma'am? Or something like that, just trying to be like in the thing happening.
Yeah.
Or like when we were at that hotel and that little bitchy dude in the pool was screaming at the lifeguard. He didn't intervene, but he loudly mocked.
Yes, he mocked from afar.
I just figured he would have at least loudly mocked. They're like, get him, boy. You know?
No, he didn't say a damn thing. And then all he had to be was like, hey, guys. And they're like, man voice. And they stopped.
Yeah.
So fucking annoying.
I want that man to have a good opinion of me.
Honestly, I could kick their ass way more aggressively than Jordan can. Don't even get it twisted. So, Trevin.
Yes, my dear.
He's like, I better be nice to this hoe. This week, we are going to be doing a round of trivia. Whoa, Trevin. We do not have the rights to say that.
Let's have a fun time.
We are, which I think, did we do a trivia in Florida February? I think we did.
We should have done it. And if not, here we go now.
Yeah, it just feels like we haven't done a trivia in a minute.
It's been a minute regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have a trivia for you today, and it has to do with a certain theme that I may be covering on my story this week, which is luck. So, Trevin, in ancient Rome, which of the following items were displayed as a good luck charm?
Okay.
Is it A, wreaths soaked in goat urine? B, large penis wind chimes? Or C, used underwear worn into battle?
Oh my God. I just went cross-eyed after the penis, and I feel like I forgot the question after I heard it.
In ancient Rome, which of the following items were displayed as a good luck charm? Wreaths soaked in goat urine, large penis wind chimes, or used underwear worn into battle?
I gotta say, I do actually think it's B. I think it's the penis one.
And you are correct!
Oh, this is fun.
Oh, you big ding dong, you got it right.
For some reason, I was thinking that, like, I didn't think as a wind chime, but I could easily see, like, something's dick just out there to mean something.
Dicks be dickin'. So, yes, B is correct. I have more information on these, obviously. These penis wind chimes are called tintinnabulum. According to Wikipedia, these phallic wind chimes, or assemblage of bells, were thought to ward off the evil eye and bring good fortune and prosperity to those that hung them in thresholds of their homes. Trevin, I have to show you some photos of these.
Oh boy.
We will obviously share these online, but there is kind of a variety of the wind chimes. Some of them are literal penises with like wings on them, and that's like the main part of it. Other times it's like a person or a creature with just a very large dong. Here's a variety of them. Just look through.
Whoa. Whoa, Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly.
Oh my God, that erection has an erection.
Oh, yeah.
What on earth?
Wild.
It has feet and its own dong. Wow.
So, yeah, it's hard to explain. Like I said, some of them are just the penis is the main part of the wind chime, and then other times it's like a creature with one, you know?
That is interesting.
It brings big dick energy to the household.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, I wonder how much the guys would get in competitions of be like, oh, now I have to go get bigger chimes because Chad down the street's got an 8-incher.
Literally. I guarantee it. You go into your neighbor's house and you're like, oh, honey, that one had all the balls and the bells, you know? Mm-hmm. And then you got to go get a new one.
Had all the balls and whistles.
Too good. But yes, you were correct. Isn't that fun?
That is really fun. I was really hoping that was it, and I'm glad it was.
I feel like if any of you out there know how to make one of these, please send us one to have in the studio. We need all the big dick energy.
This is going to end up being the thing that we have a bunch of like listener art of and stuff, isn't it?
Dick wind chimes. I'm here for it.
So before I get onto my trivia, I just have to say, I feel like I'm keeping a big secret from you that I think our stories are already going to have big connections. When you told me that yours was tied together by luck.
Oh, no.
I'm going to go and tell you my trivia here, and you'll see that I actually kind of tied mine together with my story as well. And I want to give you a trivia that's based on the lottery.
Oh.
So it sounds like we are going to be in the luck realm together, but maybe not in the same area. So I have a fun one that's a little less on the fact side, and it's just on the fun side.
Okay.
But I was looking up different lottery winners of the world, and I think it's really interesting the way that certain people want to remain anonymous when they win because they don't trust family or the friends or neighbors or whatever. I had seen one about a family where a mom and dad won the lottery and were able to keep it a secret from their actual kids and family. They were in a state with the anonymous laws, and they wanted to keep it that hush-hush.
I mean, to each their own. I think it puts people in a lot of danger. Not even just friends and family, just anyone in your whole community.
I remember somebody won a big one over by where I used to work, and everybody was like almost pitchforks, just like, who was it? Do you know who it was? And they didn't want to release their name for the longest time.
Yeah.
They eventually did, and ended up being somebody that nobody really knew. But still, I was just like, you guys are aggressively worried about this.
I know.
So here's my lottery trivia. In 2019, a Jamaican man won $1.2 million on the Super Lotto, but wanted to remain anonymous. What popular mask did he wear to pick up his check, making him a viral sensation? Is it A, Mr. Monopoly, B, Ghostface from Scream, or C, Chucky?
I love all of them. Well, I think each of them have their own flair, and they each have their own reason for why he could have chosen it. But there's just something about my 90s kid heart that really hopes it's the Scream mask.
And you are correct. We were both B this week. So coming from CBS News, lottery winner claims prize in Scream mask to hide identity.
Oh my God.
Some lottery winners go to great lengths to remain anonymous, and one person who hit the jackpot just took it to a scary new level. A winner of the Super Lotto in Jamaica wore a mask from the 1996 horror movie Scream to pick up his grand prize last week. Donning a white ghostly mask made popular by the film, the winner, identified only as A. Campbell, arrived in the Spanish Court Hotel in Kingston to pick up his giant check. In addition to the mask, the winner wore a long coat, pants, and gloves. Campbell claimed $158,400,000, which equals nearly $1.2 million in U.S. currency, without ever showing his face.
I can respect it. What mask would you wear, Trevin?
Oh
my God, that picture is so good.
Yeah, the picture is just him surrounded by people behind the big check. Honestly, I thought about this. I had a feeling we might have this conversation. And I think I would pick something, maybe that long horse mask that is so funny and used in a lot of things.
I have one. You can use mine.
Perfect.
There you go.
Or I would just do something like from an anime or something. And the only reason why is because I am not an anime fan at all. I don't watch them. Pokemon is the only anime I ever watched.
Yeah.
But if I did a Saw mask, people would think maybe it was me. And if I did a horror mask or anything too movie related, you could still keep me on the suspect list. But if I pick something random like Naruto or Dragon Ball Z or something like that, nobody would suspect me at all.
And you have admitted you're not a fan of horses.
And I'm not a fan of horses, exactly.
I know we're kind of outing you at this moment, but it's a great strategy. I think just for funsies, I would want to wear a Barbie mask and wig.
Ooh, that's a fun one too.
That would be really fun. I would enjoy that quite a lot. And you know what else I enjoy, Trevin?
Is it chocolate cake after 8?
Duh, but also ads.
On an old-timey podcast, history class gets hilariously inappropriate.
It's a show for intellectuals who laugh at fart jokes.
Want to know about the history of the Super Soaker? How about the time the Australian government declared war on emus? Or maybe you want a deep dive into the life of legendary comedian Lucille Ball.
Maybe you want to know why Mount Rushmore exists. Seriously, why did we carve faces into a mountain?
On an old-timey podcast, we do serious research, but we don't take ourselves too seriously, which means that you can learn something and have fun doing it.
Listen to an old-timey podcast and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
And we are back, and I am going first this week with my story. This is one that I was given basically zero information on this crime.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, you know me, I either need a crime to have every detail so I can just like fill it with all the goodness, or I need something so vague that I can just take over.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that.
You're kind of an all or nothing person.
An all or nothing, exactly. But regardless, the things that I do have about it are literal gold. It is still an unsolved mystery, and it takes place at a location that I've been to before.
So if this is unsolved, does that mean it's also recent?
Let me see when this was again. No, it's not. 2010.
Oh, damn. So it's probably going to stay unsolved.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to go unsolved forever unless someone can help us break this case wide open here and now.
You know, all the true crime people have it. Like they helped with some sort of a case. We still need ours.
We still need ours. Where are you at, sleuthies?
Yeah, help us.
So with that, here we go. With St. Patrick's Day recently occurring, it felt like the perfect time to discuss the luck of the Irish. Unfortunately, I'm not talking about the 2001 Disney movie about a basketball-playing teen turning into a leprechaun. Instead, I want to dive into the Irish folklore about good fortune. It is said that if you find a 4-leaf clover, it will bring you an abundance of good luck and ward off any evil spirits lurking nearby.
Fine, I'll go.
And if you happen to stumble upon the base of a rainbow, you can surely find yourself a pot of gold on the other side of the colorful arch. That is, unless a mischievous fairy strikes you down before you land. Irish heritage is much more than a single holiday about pinching unsuspected individuals who aren't wearing green. Or guzzling down kegs of emerald beer.
0% Irish, 100% strong.
There is also a fantastical portion, which brings festive storytelling and excitement. Yet today's story isn't a traditional Celtic fairy tale. It is a real-life petty crime account based on what happens when fables become nonfiction. Ironically, this story doesn't begin in Ireland or even on St. Patrick's Day. It starts, rather, in Boulder, Colorado on June 30th of 2010. There were multiple people out running errands that fine Wednesday afternoon, leading a variety of shoppers to cross paths in the King Soopers grocery store parking lot. In a beige SUV was a young mother named Sue and her even younger daughter in the back seat. Sue was stressed as she scoured the parking lot for an open space. Her toddler had been throwing a fit the entire drive to the store, demanding to watch more Paw Patrol. Plus, her household was fresh out of milk and sanity, causing her need to get out in the first place. Suddenly, Sue noticed an empty spot in the crowded lot. She put on her turn signal to claim her prized parking when a black BMW cut in front of her, stealing her rightful place.
Damn it, you asshole!
Sue shouted, throwing her mom hands up into the air.
Damn asshole!
Her sponge of a child repeated behind her. Inside the BMW was an arrogant businessman named Ted.
I'm really rich.
He was currently on a work call and texting his side chick immediately after snagging the parking spot from Sue's SUV. Only, Ted didn't even notice Sue. Anyone other than him was either an inconvenience or of minor use to him. Ted turned off the accelerator to his car, switching the business call to his wireless headset. He half listened to the complaints being made in his ear while he checked himself out in his car mirror.
You'll be happy, the stockholders will be happy, and everybody and their mama on the board will be happy. Stop worrying so much. Everything is...
But before Ted could finish, he noticed someone was staring at him from the opposing parking space that faced him.
Everything's fine.
Ted completed his statement out loud to his business partner and to himself. The person who appeared to be staring at Ted with wide eyes was sitting in a multicolored hoopty across from him. Inside the busted ride sat a young man named Max, who in all actuality was staring at a bug on his windshield instead of the douchey bro parked in front of him. Max had just got off from his early shift at a diner and needed to stock up on snacks before he went home to ingest some THC and chill. The bug eventually flew away, leaving only Max and Ted to stare at each other awkwardly through the windshields.
What the hell, man?
Max mumbled before breaking eye contact. He turned his head to grab his phone and keys when something green scurried past his vehicle. Ted noticed it too, causing both men to fixate on the strange sight before them.
Whoa.
A few spaces down, Sue and her daughter managed to squeeze into a narrow lot. Her toddler was still whining as she put the SUV in park. Sue took a deep breath, prepared to sing or act out any Paw Patrol scene she could think of when she heard her little one giggling in her car seat.
Aw, yay! Someone is happy again.
Sue said as she looked over her shoulder at her daughter. She noticed that she appeared to be watching something in front of them as she laughed, causing Sue to face the front to see what had amused her. At first a green blur, Sue's vision focused in on the moving object.
Oh my!
She gasped, realizing the mythical and menacing figure before them was not one of imagination, but of reality. Sue, Ted, and Max all watched the figure bouncing between vehicles and making aggressive motions, prompting them all to make phone calls to 911.
911, what is your emergency?
Hi, I'm a concerned parent in a grocery store parking lot, and there is something real weird going on here.
Can you please describe what it is that you are witnessing?
It appears to be a man, dressed all in green, wearing tights, a hat, dressed as one of those mythical creatures, a leprechaun.
And what is the leprechaun man doing at the moment?
Look, I know how this sounds, but he is leaping from car to car and could scratch the paint. I know I could take him, but he's making finger guns and shooting them in a threatening manner.
Do you feel like you could be currently in danger?
Well, sure I do. There's a leaping leprechaun on the loose, and none of our kids are safe.
Officers are on their way.
Around 1 p.m. on Wednesday, June 30th of 2010, Boulder, Colorado police responded to calls from a King Soopers store parking lot at 30th Street and Arapahoe Avenue. Reports state that witnesses saw a man dressed as a leprechaun leaping between the parked cars. Police Sergeant Fred Gerhardt stated that witnesses also saw the man pretending to shoot at people with his fingers and may have made obscene gestures at them. He explained that the onlookers likely called police because the man was acting bizarre, and that this is the first time Boulder police have ever received a complaint about a leprechaun. Unfortunately for officers, there were no looks given as they arrived at the scene. Their search for the mysterious man or creature ended without finding anyone matching the suspect's description, leaving the authorities with no one to call, guilty as charged. If you're lucky enough to find yourself in the presence of a supernatural being, go Cloverboard. It isn't every day that you can have an experience that will leave others green with envy. Just make sure you keep your distance and don't push your luck, because not every leprechaun has a heart of gold.
Dang. So there's no pictures or video or anything. It's just multiple people said that they saw him.
Multiple witnesses. I had no direct quotes from any witness. I made up all of them. I just thought it would be funny because there were multiple calls made and multiple witnesses interviewed by the police. I was like, okay, there were multiple people that saw this leaping leprechaun frolicking amongst the cars, shooting finger guns at them. Like, what the hell? This is so weird. And I was like, okay, who are like some stereotype type of people that are always at the store? And what are they buying? The different things. And then that's just kind of how I went from there. But yeah, I had fun creating that whole little parking lot community.
It sounds fun. I like the characters. now that when you said an unsolved mystery, I thought that was weird wording. I was like, okay, unsolved mystery, like you just meant like an unsolved crime, but no.
It's a literal mystery. It wasn't on St. Patrick's Day. And I've been to King Soopers in the Denver area. I think it's like the Rocky Mountain Super Centers is what it is.
Okay.
They're just regular stores, you know, and I'm just picturing a random man dressed as a leprechaun making obscene gestures and finger gunning everyone to the point that they all were like, help us, help us.
Yeah, those must have been some pretty dangerous finger guns.
Literally.
So the guy that I played, what was he saying about scratching cars?
Oh, the douchey guy was just calling and was afraid that he could have scratched somebody's paint.
Oh, okay.
On the car, yeah. He didn't actually leap onto the car. Nowhere said that. But certain articles said he was like darting throughout cars, and some said leaping. I thought a leaping leprechaun sounded better.
Yeah, it's catchy. It's a real thing.
Yeah, that's really it, guys. It's very limited information. It was never solved. I have no follow-up. It's really just a mystery to us all.
I would like to think it was a supernatural being that just appeared and zigzagged and finger gunned and went back where he was going.
Honestly, like maybe he was just warning the people of Boulder of something coming their way. I don't know. But that was also in 2010. So whatever he was warning, I'm sure they got through it.
I would have bought a lottery ticket right after. You don't see a leprechaun and just call the police. That's lucky.
I know. I was like, if I saw somebody dressed as a leprechaun and they were shooting finger guns at me, yeah, I'd probably be a little confused, but I don't know if I would have called 911.
No, it's just finger guns. What if it's more of not a phenomenon of people seeing a leprechaun, but it's a phenomenon of multiple people just being that sensitive? Like, ew, finger guns, I'm calling the cops.
I mean, truly. And what if he just loved the color green and he was just like, hey, hey, hey. And they're like, ah!
I'm sorry, I'm below average height. I like wearing green and I do the finger guns. That's all it is, guys.
I'm dead.
I didn't expect it to take a supernatural turn. Kind of makes me think of, I don't know, just the possibilities out there. Like the one I did about the people who turned into a goat.
Yeah, literally. You don't know what's out there. Just like the one guy that I did. He said he was abducted by aliens and no one wanted to listen to him.
Yeah, we have some stories that are too crazy to be unreal, right? Or whatever that means. Well, this week I have a story that is very new. So new. I'm talking 2 weeks ago. I think I decided I was writing it 2 days after it happened.
Oh, yeah. This is that new.
Hot off the presses.
Okay.
And there will be some luck involved. But like I had called earlier, it's not going to be that similar at all. I think that's going to be our connection.
It has to be.
It's fun how we're on the same wavelength like that. The themes themselves just overlapped so perfectly.
Perfect.
But mine is from the news, and we're going international today. So pack your bags, and I don't know how good of a job I'm going to do of portraying this place.
Uh-oh.
But we'll see when we get there. And here we go. Do you ever find yourself in public, overcome by the urge to rub one off? Does the mere sight of neon colors and overpromising slogans send a shiver down your spine, your hands twitching from the memory of past mistakes? If so, you're not alone. Scratcher tickets are a calculated temptation, pulling you in, dangling the dream of riches, then leaving you with nothing but disappointment. Match 3 items, instant win, the dreaded crossword style, a brief moment of false hope. Yet we all play the game, convinced that just one more might change everything. Whether you're a scratcher addict in a gas station, an optimist making a terrible financial decision, or a child receiving your first taste of gambling on your 7th birthday, for one fleeting moment, we are all the same, just a few scratches in a pile of gross metal shavings away from rewriting our fate. Of course that never happens, and in the end, we're all united, not by wealth, but by the quiet shame of being easily duped losers. But hey, at least we had hope. Today's petty crime is not just recent, but it's international, and I've got a good feeling that all our luck is about to change. So put your faith into this one last gamble. I guarantee this story is a jackpot. Toulouse, France. A city of pink-hued buildings, charming cafes, and an atmosphere that practically begs you to write poetry. There's something about the scent of fresh-baked bread and espresso in the air that makes a person feel. And on this crisp February day in 2025, feelings were in high supply. Lovers sat across from each other, every small iron table perfectly positioned for romance, their eyes locked in a staring contest of lust, inevitably leading to an exaggerated French kiss. A group of rugby players kicked around the ball, the winners gracious,
Good game, everyone.
the losers indignant.
Fuck you, cheater.
And up on a hill, a poet wept, jotting notes onto a spare baguette.
The sky is gray. Existence is pain. My hope is a croissant left out in the rain.
And walking calmly through the thick French atmosphere of emotion was our main character, Jean David. He loved strolling through his hometown, watching his fellow citizens experience existential dread in its many forms. Something about their melancholy blended perfectly with his pink city, La Ville Rose. The rugby players scored their goals, hit their home runs, and gracefully ran through the park. At least, that's how it looked to Jean David, who knew absolutely nothing about the sport. He strolled the perimeter, enjoying the spectacle, even if he had no clue what was happening. This was the perfect way to start any day. Some fresh air, an opportunity to admire a few athletic physiques, and a chance, however small, to burn off a fraction of the carbs from his morning cereal, which he had eaten in a bread bowl. With just the right amount of exertion and enough time spent soaking in the charm of Toulouse Park, Jean David veered off his path, making his way back toward the parking lot. He'd gotten his walk-in, found a new rugby player to crush on until tomorrow's stroll, and overall, his morning routine was a success. As he neared his car, a glint of light flickered into his vision. Jean David raised his hand, squinting, as he carefully approached the driver's side. As the source of the reflection became clear, he lunged for the door, throwing it open and diving inside to rummage through the seats. Behind him, his ass stuck out awkwardly as shards of glass, once part of his car window, crunched beneath him. He scrambled across the seats, desperate to find the bag, but it was gone. His backpack, wallet, ID, and all forms of payment had vanished.
Mon Dieu!
He exclaimed, collapsing back into the seat, defeated. In a flash, the French police arrived, took his statement, and were gone.
C'est la vie.
Jean David drove home, the cold February air blasting into his face through the gaping hole where his window once was. As his cheek muscles started to go numb and his left eye watered, he couldn't shake the words of the investigating officer.
Pardon my French, but you're fucked.
Jean David dragged his defeated body into his apartment, reheated some French fries, and grabbed his laptop. A long night awaited, canceling credit cards and applying for a new ID. He logged into his bank's website, clicking the Report Stolen button on his debit card profile. A single tear fell onto one of his fries, adding his own salt to the mix. But as he scrolled through his past transactions, reminiscing about the good times he'd shared with his debit card, he noticed something strange. There was a recent charge made after the theft.
Sacre bleu.
Jean David squinted at the purchase. $5 French spent at Crime de la Convenience, a local corner shop at the outskirts of town. He rubbed his chin, half in contemplation, half to restore some feeling to his face. After taking a screenshot of the transaction, he grabbed his scarf and prepared to drive back across town, determined to investigate the mysterious purchase. As soon as Jean David stepped into the store, he could tell something was off. At the back counter, 2 employees were huddled together, whispering and laughing, their attention fully consumed by whatever was going on between them. When Jean David approached the counter, the chatter didn't stop until a loud throat clear from him sent one of them scurrying over.
Sorry about that, sir.
The worker said, barely holding back a grin.
We've had the strangest day.
Oui, tell me about it.
Jean David replied. He pulled out his phone and placed it on the counter.
I recently had my debit card stolen from my car. I have the transaction info here. Would you be able to review the footage and see if we can catch a glimpse of the person who did this? They were just in here a couple hours ago.
The cashier glanced back at their coworker, giving them a suspicious side-eye before turning back to Jean David. They scribbled down the transaction details on a piece of paper, then dramatically retracted their pen with a cool flourish.
Let me see what I can do. Hang tight.
Trying to be patient, Jean David grabbed a petite débit snack cake and began inspecting the scratcher ticket display. He chuckled to himself, remembering how enticing they'd seemed when he was younger. The nostalgia distracted him so much that he didn't even hear the cashier call their coworker from the back.
Hey, Claude, you're gonna want to come in here.
Jean David finally decided on a scratcher and reached for his wallet, only to feel the firm curve of his ass cheek.
Oh yeah, my wallet was stolen.
He looked up, disappointed, and locked eyes with the two cashiers who were clearly holding back something they wanted to say.
You're not gonna believe this, monsieur,
the cashier said, turning their phone around for Jean David to see. On the screen was a grainy surveillance video. Jean David leaned in as two disheveled men shuffled into the store, heading straight for the scratcher tickets.
I'll take this $5 ticket, please.
Remember when I said we had the strangest day?
The cashier asked.
We,
Jean David responded, eyes locked on the screen. The footage continued. One of the men hunched over, violently shaking his arm before grabbing the other. Their attention snapped to the counter. Then suddenly, both of them threw their hands in the air. Even in silence, Jean David could hear the exact noise their excitement must have made. As the men collapsed into an emotional embrace, another familiar figure entered the frame, the cashier currently holding the phone. She approached cautiously, staring at whatever had transfixed the two. Then, as if caught in an invisible force field of pure joy, she too joined in. Within seconds, all three were jumping in place, looking like that Seinfeld excitement meme brought to life.
The scratcher ticket they bought.
The cashier said, turning back to Jean David.
It won $523,000.
Jean David's stomach twisted.
And it was bought with your debit card.
His face inched closer to the phone. In the low-resolution black and white footage, the two men spun each other around, before, in a final flourish of bliss, dancing their way right out of the store.
They were so totally happy that they forgot their cigarettes and their belongings and walked out like crazy people.
Jean David's ears perked up.
Their belongings?
Don't get too excited,
the cashier said, dashing his hopes before they could fully form.
Just the other guy's brand new box of cigarettes and some old coats.
With a smirk, she slid a business card across the counter.
We've got the ticket's information. We will know when it's cashed. Keep us in the loop if you hear anything. We'll do the same. And go ahead, take a free fountain drink for your troubles.
Minutes later, Jean David was back on the road, sipping a chaotic mix of every soda available through the straw poking out of his scarf. The cold drink did him no favors against the missing window, but he never turned down a freebie. As the city lights blurred past, his mind fixated on the numbers. $520,000. $500,000, now in the hands of two men who, just hours ago, had nothing but worn coats and a pack of cigarettes. In one swipe of his debit card, they had become over 100,000 times wealthier than him. His eyes flickered between the road and his thoughts, absorbing his new reality. Not long ago, he wanted the police to track these men down and bring them to justice. Now, the inconvenience of updating his streaming services felt like problems of a peasant. With the winning ticket, he wouldn't just fix this problem, he'd fix everything. Jean David exhaled, watching his breath seep through the scarf, drifting into the night. Surely there was a better way to handle this. Surely they could make a deal. In late February 2025, two thieves in Paris, France, used a stolen card to purchase a scratcher ticket that won 500,000 euros, approximately $523,000. Overcome with excitement, the thieves ran out of the store before cashing in, leaving their belongings behind. The victim, identified in police records as Jean David E., had discovered earlier that month that his backpack containing his bank cards and legal documents had been stolen from his car in the southern city of Toulouse. While attempting to block his card, he noticed the suspicious purchase at a local shop. Initially, Jean David filed a police complaint over the theft. However, he has since announced through his lawyer that he is willing to withdraw the complaint if the thieves come forward to split the winnings.
Without them, no one would have won,
he told public broadcaster France 2. His lawyer has since launched a national appeal, urging the perpetrators to come forward and negotiate a deal. Legal experts warn that prosecutors may attempt to seize the winnings, as they could be considered illegally obtained gains.
You risk nothing. We will share with you, and you would be able to change your lives,
the lawyer pleaded in a public statement. As of the latest reports, no one has come forward to claim their share. With the ticket's expiration date looming, the window of opportunity is slowly closing. I don't know if this is a story of sheer luck or sheer misfortune. On one hand, just witnessing or even knowing someone who scratches a $523,000 winning ticket would make me feel luckier by association. But realizing my own debit card had that kind of potential, that would leave me somewhere between resentment and a bizarre sense of pride. In the end, this all comes down to how the story concludes. Will the thieves come forward, split the money with Jean David, and form an oddly wholesome trio, bound together by petty crime and dumb luck? Will they get caught, forfeiting the winnings to no one but the government? Or will the ticket simply expire in the hands of a criminal, trapped in a catch-22 of what if? Somewhere out there, a life-changing fortune sits in limbo, unable to be possessed by the buyer, and unable to be cashed by the possessor. Although so much luck had to come together to make this situation possible, if anyone hopes to see a single cent, they're going to need just a little more.
Hot diggity damn.
Isn't that a crazy story?
So you did say there is a possibility that if they do come and claim the money, that they could not get any of it because it was obtained under fraud?
Illegally obtained gains.
And then what happens to the money?
I guess the government would just like rip up the ticket and void it out. It's tricky. I guess it kind of comes down to how much the government sucks there. I don't really know how that works. Even in America, I think about that. Like, our government is shitty and would take from you real quick. But at the same time, the only thing we believe in is capitalism. Like I was reading some other crazy facts about lottery and stuff, and there was like a statistician, whatever.
Statistic?
A statistics major person who was able to crack the scratcher code algorithm and would like buy these big ass box of scratchers and had won the jackpot 4 different times.
Oh, shit.
And I guess they just never really stopped that person because it's like if you're willing to buy thousands and thousands of dollars of boxes of the tickets, I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not always a perfect science, but they still won 4 times.
Yeah.
But they never really stepped in and stopped that person from doing it because they were like, well, capitalism, baby, figured it out.
That's true.
So it just kind of comes down to how they want to handle that. But that's the scary thing about it is I feel like a lot of laws and stuff are kind of like that too. It's like, well, we could use this against you if we choose to, or we might not. And it just kind of puts the ball in your court like that. I don't know. If I was those people, I'd reach out to the lawyer, I think.
I would, for sure. At least then you might have a slight chance of making a deal. I feel like if you leave it in the hands of the government to make up their mind and you just go cash it and try and get out there, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. The bad thing is, though, the way these things work, because I worked in a gas station for a long time, they come in stacks and they're all numbered individually. Within the range of card numbers, you know which one is the winning one.
Yeah.
So it gets flagged, and no matter which gas station or wherever you take that scans it, they will be able to step in and stop it if they want to. So that's the bad thing is if it's like everywhere else and it's like a state-ran lottery, it could be up to their decision in the end anyway.
Yeah, that's so weird. Oh my God, I can't wait. I need to know what's going to happen.
I was reading how long it takes those before they expire. Mm-hmm. Some said 30 days, which doesn't sound right to me. Mm-hmm. And then it said like it's hard to tell because each brand's a little different. So I don't know. They didn't say in the article. They just said it will expire. So I would hope that we hear something sooner rather than later. Yeah.
I mean, it can't go past a few months, right?
I wouldn't think so.
Oh my God, what a predicament.
Ugh, I know. Like if I was the people who stole it, I would almost want to find some way to tell them in incognito mode so they can go try to cash it. But then who's to say they don't cash it and just keep it and screw you over?
There's a lot of possibilities, a lot of ways this could go wrong. Because it started off wrong.
Yeah.
I keep thinking like, oh, well, the criminal here, wins. But really, how many times have you had your identity stolen or your credit card stolen? And there's like these little bullshit charges at gas stations. That's happened to me a couple times. Mm-hmm. And 0 times have I gone to that location and been like, who did you see here? And they were like, he won the lottery using your card. Like, I've never gone to that length. I just, say they're fraudulent, get the card shut down, whatever. Mm-hmm. But because this guy went above and beyond and went there and figured it out, what a fun little surprise for him, too. I know it sucks that it was stolen and he might not get it, but a lot of us would have just not have known at all.
Yeah, I guess he was just trying to get a glimpse of their face or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I had that happen when I worked at the convenience store all the time. People would say my card was stolen, it was ran here, and I tried to help them.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever really got anybody caught or anything, but I could always say like, oh, I know what they got and I know what time they were in here.
I've never done that research. I've never gone there. So that's kind of crazy. But in this instance, it helped to go.
It's such an insane story. I don't know. For me, I would love to see them just keep their money and somehow split it fairly.
Yes.
I don't even care. Like, that's just fun. It's a fun story. And
I hope they do. That is the best case scenario for everyone.
I know you're a thief and everything, but let's just see what happens.
Because I don't want the thief to keep all the money.
No, just because they're so easily trackable, they can't cash it.
I know.
At all. Your only chance of it getting cashed is in the other guy's hand, if they even let that happen.
I know. So weird. We will keep you all posted. Well, I hope that everyone is having the best and luckiest week out there.
Oh, yeah. That's the connection already called.
That's the connection. And no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to get a little lucky.
Bye.
See ya.
If you're tired of losing the lottery, come on over to our Patreon where everyone's a winner. Bonus content, movie nights, and more.
And are you finding yourself stuck on Facebook Marketplace looking for people's old shit? Instead of looking at that, follow us on social media. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Threads. Live, Laugh, Larceny.
And have you ever seen a leaping leprechaun out in the wild? If so, send us an email to livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And give our show the same rating I would give that lottery winner's mask choice. 5 stars. Give us 5 stars wherever you rate podcasts, Apple, Spotify, or Good Pods.
Oh, is it?
It's like in the mood, like, Monsieur.
Monsieur. Okay. You're not going to believe this, Monsieur. Wait, say it again.
It's like, Monsieur, Monsieur,
Monsieur?
Monsieur,
Monsieur?
Monsieur,
Monsieur?
Monsieur.
Monsieur?
I'm probably doing it all wrong.
You're not going to believe this, Monsieur. No, that's wrong. There's no N.
Okay, here.
Where is the seductive little duster at when you need her?
Monsieur. It's S-Y-U-R. Monsieur.
So you don't say the N.
I guess not.
You're not going to believe this, Monsieur. Monsieur?
Monsieur.
Monsieur?
Sear. Like syrup without the P.
Oh, sear.
Monsieur. Monsieur.
You're not going to believe this, Monsieur. That was wrong again.